Okay, hey guys. So we're taking a look at our friend Tard Zaned. So we've taken a look at a VOD for him before, and one thing I want to say, there's two things right off the rip that I think are really important. One, I want to give credit where credit's due. Good job. Last time we yelled at him for having Professor and like spamming it and distracting himself with it during game. It looks like it's uninstalled. So good job for that. Second thing, and you know exactly what I'm going to say to you, don't go Doran Shield. Unless you're laning in like GM plus against like Chovy Sun, like you don't need it in 99% of situations. You don't get enough value from it, and it's better to just focus on improving your laning. You're going to see much higher returns from that. My biggest suggestion for you, if you really struggle with dodging skill shots and taking damage in lane, is going to be, instead of doing double adaptive HP, do 1-2% movement speed, and then 1 adaptive HP in these sort of skill shot heavy matchups, and then try and get tier 1 boots on your first or second base. It helps a lot, especially if you have good movement, right? Now, looking at this lane, like, I'm going to be real with you. You didn't lose this game from the lane. I've watched this VOD already all the way through. There were a couple of key points. So, there's a lot of weird shit that happens in this lane. Mainly, we survive to level 6 and don't have to take a base because this Hui is really bad at managing his mana. Hui, if he plays patiently with his abilities, is functionally an infinite mana champ, especially versus Kassadin, because you can't stop him from autoing the wave, right? And his WE gives him a shit ton of mana back. It's like 135 mana every time he uses it. And what ends up happening basically is this guy uses all of his mana level 1 and 2 when it's really inefficient for him to do that. And a lot of the damage gets blocked by your Doran Shield. And we do end up staying on like 1 HP forever. So this is a situation where he actually did get some pretty good value out of Doran Shield, all things considered. Zac comes mid and burns our flash. And then we use that to snowball into a level 6 solo kill. So right here. Now honestly, there's a couple things. It looks like, again, all things considered, you played the lane pretty well. Here, I wouldn't be thinking about a solo kill right now. I mean, it's possible. It could happen. But your first priority is, and what you want to be worried about, is making sure the lane gets pushed and you get the ability to take a reset. Right, we have 1,278 gold, which is a beautiful first base. We can back and get a Catalyst. We can back and get Amptome or Blasting Wand tier. We can do all sorts of things, right? And that's kind of what we want to do. And we end up getting a solo kill. So great stuff, right? He does opt into a solo kill. I think this is wonderful. We're in a great spot, and it should be really hard for us to lose this lane. Now, the first major mistake that I see is right here. So, two schools of thought, right? And I think what I would probably do in this situation is I would go Catalyst and then Tier. The reason I'd go Catalyst and then Tier here is it's going to be really hard for you to ever get bullied out of lane if you have Doran's Shield, Catalyst, Tier. You can also get Refillable Potion, you have enough gold for it. I think it's completely fine to go Blasting Wand, this, and this. I would not get the Sapphire Crystal. The reason I would not get the Sapphire Crystal is it's pretty much a completely useless component. You don't have mana problems if you're doing your mana correctly. I would get this. The tier 1 boots are so much more valuable than Sapphire Crystal. If you can dodge one extra ability, it's worth it. So I think that's a mistake. And we're about to make a pretty big mistake. So what ends up happening is I think you go for this because you see the Zac coming mid lane, right? And while I don't hate the idea of like, okay, I want to fight because my Zac's here, I don't like the execution of it. So one, we're jumping on him and like forcing him back to his tower, so it's really, really hard for the Zac to get on top of him. Like, the initial trade's probably fine, especially because we burn his fear. But then right here, you want to stop and probably walk forward, or walk back, to bait him to come forward. Because I don't know what he has vision of. I don't know what he does and doesn't have vision of, right? And now you have this Zac who came mid. He wasted all this time for this gank for you, and he's not getting anything out of it. And now he can't really gank because you're chunked, right? If Lee Sin's mid, you guys lose this 2v2. So this whole situation is your fault just from like playing too aggressive right out of the base. The other thing that I've noticed, so this is a pattern with a lot of your ults in this game. So versus these line skill shot CC champions like Hwei, you never want to like, so say Hwei is here, you're here, you never want to ult like max range in a straight line. And the reason is because basically when you're playing versus Hwei, if you ult max range in a straight line, it makes his job really easy. All he wants to do is EQ you right out of your ultimate, right? And that's exactly what happens like on repeat here. So if we do this, what is better to do in these situations is you just run at him, and then you wait for an ability animation to go, and then you can ult over the EQ. You can also ult to the side. I mean, you're in 12 ping, so there's no reason we can't do that. Same thing, right? We're like, versus Hwei, you're not really in range unless he uses... You can only ult like this if he uses his EQ, which I guess he does, but he also has his ult. You're not really in range unless you can get on his head or ult to the side, because what you can do a lot of times in these skill shot matchups is you place your cursor here, and so you're still doing the damage to him, right? But a lot of times they're going to shoot their ult or their EQ or whatever right at where you are, because most Kassadins will ult in a straight line like this. But yeah, so this creates a really bad situation because now suddenly Zac can't come mid. And the reason is because you're shorter range. He can interact with you without interacting with him. If you get hit by one Lee Sin Q, you're cooked. And this getting hit by this W here, QW here, is your fault because we didn't have tier 1 boots. If we have tier 1, I mean, we should be able to dodge that honestly anyway. But if we have tier 1 boots, we never get hit by that. And now we're in a really tough spot. Our jungler is overextended and there's nothing we can do to help. And this is all... Excuse me. This is all our fault because we went for this psychotic trade. Right? So we put our jungler in a really bad spot. Instead of playing patiently and literally just waiting for him, because it's an alternate reality where we don't do the second ult, right? We wait right here. We let Zac take... I guess... Oh no, the Raptors aren't up. But we let Zac get a good position. And then once Zac is in position, you ult E forward, you slow him, and then Zac comes in and he instantly explodes. And there's nothing that Lee Sin can do to stop this. Right? Instead, we get chunked, we lose all lane priority, and we get our jungler killed because of it. Like, this death is 100% your fault. So that's pretty rough. Not a great spot. All things considered, not the end of the world, but that's probably like one of the biggest mistakes in the VOD. Now the next one is, let me see. It's actually a solo kill. So this is a more advanced concept. But I think it's when this dragon comes up and you come back to lane. Okay, so basically this guy's in a rough spot right now. So first of all, you don't want to be trading aggressively like this right now. And the reason is because, I mean, I don't see what happened. So their bot lane died. But you don't want to be trading aggressively right now. And the reason is because your entire team was in base, right? Garen is up, but there's no objective topside. It's really likely that Lee Sin's looking for a play on bot lane because Dragon's up. You don't want to be the only play on the map for the enemy team to go for, right? This is not when we want to be ulting forward. So even though you didn't die because of this, you very easily could have. It could have ruined the game. But then we do get a good trade-off, and Hwei is completely homeless. He's half HP. And what we should be thinking about doing now is when we do trade, we want to take as little damage as possible so we can maintain this HP differential. You don't want to like use your entire health bar for a solo kill, and the reason is because your whole team is probably going to look to fight bot lane. And you can see that's exactly what happens. Zac is showing up here. The dragon's up, right? All we should be thinking about, because Hui is homeless, he can't rotate on this fight, is we should be thinking about blowing up midwave and rotating down. If Hui kills himself, you know what I mean? That's fine, but we don't really care about killing him right now. We care about securing the dragon with our team. We're stronger than he is. Like, there's no reason that we shouldn't create... Instead of flipping this fight mid lane, we should be creating a man advantage play bot lane. This was like a really big mistake. It ends up doing okay for your team. But now like this, right? This solo kill doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything. You deny Hui a little bit, but basically, the reason I don't think this solo kill is good or useful is because it doesn't do anything to help your team secure this dragon. And even though Hui dies here, right, we're completely chunked out and we can't rotate to this play. Now, I think your team actually ends up winning this fight, which is like lucky, you know what I mean? But this is a 50-50 play. It's a 3v3, and you could have made it a man advantage, almost guaranteed play for you and your team. So this is a huge, like, missed opportunity. But what ends up happening, I believe, is we TP back. And this is another thing. Like, this is what I mean when I'm saying ulting on Hui. We're, like, playing too fair. What you want to do, like, just walk at him. You know what I mean? A lot of times, if you just walk at him with tier 1 boots, you'll force him to use his EQ. You play a game of chicken, and you can ult over it. But this is the other big mistake. So I think you really need to take a second and, like, look at some of your team fighting, because this play was a huge missed opportunity. So we're looking at this. This is what I mean, by the way. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You ult on their head or you ult to the side, and these line skill shot champions have a really, really hard time dealing with you. So you see how you ulted directly on top of her? And then you walk forward before casting an ability, right? And she misses. She throws it up here because that's where you were. It puts more, I mean, it's not going to work every time, but it puts more pressure on them. Right? Now we really need to be tracking where everyone is. So we can see Sivir's down here, right? Because we just made the Lux half HP and we just saw Hui and he's like 30% HP. It's completely illegal for him to be contesting this fight. If I am in this situation, so there's probably vision here. What I would be doing, honestly, is I would walk back here, I'd hug this wall, and then I'd ult over on this wall over into fog, right? It's really unlikely for them to have a ward here. I mean, it's objectively possible, but usually in these situations, people will ward like here, they'll ward the entrances. They don't ward inside the red buff a lot of the times. And then what you can do is you wait 2 seconds and suddenly you're going over the wall here with a full stack ult. We also see Lee Sin went into the pit to try and steal Dragon. And for some reason, like, we're backing off to Narnia here. Like, even if we just walked this way with our Zac, we completely wipe this fight here. We're playing way too scared. We also feel like we don't do any damage because we're only using our E and Q on them. We're not using our fully stacked R that we had. We actually let it reset. Like, if we jump on Lee Sin, it would have been close, but we probably would have killed him. But yeah. And you and the Corki actually end up wiping this fight, but it was just like so closer than it needed to be because we don't really understand our damage or how to play these skirmishes, right? So you did your job in the sense of you chunked out Lux, but now you didn't do anything to capitalize on that advantage. So you're like backing off way too far. There are two courses of action, right? So we see on the minimap, if we bring our camera down, we saw Lee Sin go into the pit. We saw Sivir flanking for some reason. This is a free double kill for you. So just ult here, ult here. And yeah, this is just a missed opportunity. It should have been a completely won fight, and it ends up closer than it should have been, right? Now, the last point I want to make, second item, well, first of all, I would go Mercs this game. One, you're ahead, so you can afford to go a little bit defensive. 2, the only way you ever die in this entire game is you get Chain CC'd. They have 2 significant hard CC abilities that you need to worry about, which are all the Hui E abilities and then Lux Q. If you get hit by either one, they'll chain it into each other. If you get hit by one, there's a really, really good chance that Merc Treads gives you the ability to ult away before the second one lands, if they're not directly on top of each other for follow-up. And I believe you die in a team fight that way. So we get another random kill. The other thing that I think was really bad this game was our itemization. I mean, going Roa Seraphs is fine. I would have gone Malignance this game. I just do the Malignant second every game now for the most part. Reason is you do more damage, it feels like. You do more consistent damage, and then Malignance is also kind of a defensive item because it lowers your ult CD, so it helps you get out of sticky situations better. Beautiful. So, I would never be jumping on the Ornn here. This is another team fight that I don't know if we wipe this. Ornn is the last person I want to kill. I would be looking for whoever's coming in this brush. So I'd be walking up here, putting a ward down. Yes, exactly like this. And then I'd be running away. We're like too late on this. There's no reason for us to jump over the wall on the Ornn. We don't do any damage to him right now, especially without Malignance. I would just go straight for Lux Hui. And then once we kill the Hui, like I would just run away. You're not going to 3v1 this, and the only thing you can do is int. There's no point. Now this is the next fuck up you have. Especially if we're going this build, we can't afford to get Malignance third. Just get an arm guard. Go Zhonya's. This is so illegal. The beautiful thing about Lux Binding is even if you get hit by it, if you get hit by the Q, you can just press Zhonya's on any of the follow-up, and it's such a crazy get-out-of-jail-free card. I believe you die in the next team fight because we don't have Zhonya's. Oh my god, this was insane, by the way. This is what I mean. So this is the only way you ever die. Random Lux Q. Imagine if we just press Zhonya's here when they all jump on us. Then there's nothing to worry about. But this was insane. You walk back into range for this? Like, what? We can't actually think this is a good idea. Like, make no mistake, the only reason we live here is because they fucked up. We did not do anything. First of all, you never want to ult on Lee Sin's head like this, because all Lee Sin wants to do is ward kick you. When he lands his Q, you need to ult away, so if he buffers his ult, you get ulted away. This is like stupid. You're never going to kill him before he gets off his kick. Going Rabadons here is so grief. And then this is the classic, like, I just hit level 16 Kassadin, I want to fight because I think I should be the strongest champion in the game. You bait your team here for a really, really bad play. Instead of just chilling, you know, or tower diving their tier 1, almost, with a level 12 Zac, and your whole team gets wiped. Make no mistake, this is your fault. We have a 0 stack R. And we missed our E. When we do go for plays like this, we need to make sure our R is on 3+ stacks. So, like, I would have stacked it here. So that way we one-shot him, and we also need to land our E. Just be a little bit more patient with it, because you probably just one-shot him if you have a 3 or 4 stack R, and you land your E. Like, that's the difference maker in these situations. But yeah, so we bait our team into basically getting wiped. Then we go top. And then this is the team fight that I think like really ruins the game. We don't have Zhonya's. So the thing about going Rabadons is his AP ratios, they're not that insane anymore. He used to have really, really high AP ratios, so you could get away with doing this because you would just one-shot an entire team. But yeah, he just doesn't. The other thing is, at this point, I'd be switching to Sweeper, and the reason is so you can do flanks and stuff. So Kassadin in late game team fights never wants to take these fair team fights where he's jumping at them in a situation where he has vision, where they have vision. What I would do here, I mean, you know they have this thing here. A lot of times it creates a false sense of security. I'd be walking up to this wall here and ulting right here and trying to come at the Hui and the Lux from behind. Now I think this is a fundamentally bad team fight because you guys are fighting a 2v4 for some reason. But honestly, right here, I would just run away. There's no reason to do this. If we have Zhonya's, I think it's a different story because we can press Zhonya's right here and buy a lot of time for our team, but because we went Rabadon's, we can't, and we ult in and die as the strongest person in the game, basically. So your your first job on Kassadin, aside from killing people, is to stay alive, and that's why you need to take these really unfair fights, because imagine an alternate world too, where instead of just ulting directly like this, we ult over this wall and then ult from behind. What would have happened is we would have randomly found the Sivir over here, and we would have one-shot their AD carry. And this looks like a completely different fight, because Sivir's really the only person who can kill you reliably. But yeah, trading your life for Hui's life really isn't worth. You killed the jungler, and that's the important thing to make sure that you get the dragon. So I would just, I literally would have just killed the Lee Sin and ran. But yeah, everything past this point is like really scuffed. And we do like basically like this. We do respawn, die, and we do good damage, but it's like we can't survive team fights, so it doesn't really matter. Like, look at how much damage we just take. We need to play these fights more patiently to dodge out more CC. Like, you can't ult on Hui's head when Ornn is ulting at you, because you're just going to get one shot. And then we get away with murder, right? We kill the Hui and we ult back on Ornn's head for some reason. Like, none of this makes any sense to me. What are you trying to do here? What does killing the Ornn accomplish? You're the biggest threat on your team. It's so, especially with your whole team dead, right? It's so important for you to stay alive, because if you can base, you can stop them from doing Baron. But instead, we just die for no reason. Right? We want to go for like a highlight play, and it kills us. Just ult away. Literally, if you just ult up this way, you're completely fine. So yeah, this sequence is what loses you the game. And I think they start Baron or something, and then... which they'd never in a million years be able to do if we didn't just kill ourselves. And again, we're getting hit by every skill shot. Why are we always on 2 wards? You should be warding over the wall here to see what the fuck they're doing. In both fights, you were just like perma on 2 wards. I don't even want to approach from the same angle as my team too in these situations. Like, if I am trying to team fight, I'm coming up, I'm wrapping around the pit this way to try and get behind them. Like, you always want to be coming from as many angles as possible. I mean, regardless, right? I don't think this is a great fight. I don't think that this is the reason you lost the game. I think the reason was lost from the 2 previous team fights. Like, this is a losing fight for you guys. Bro, what are we doing? This is so stupid. We're 1300 HP ult flashing into 4 people with no Zhonya's. What did burning our flash to kill the Lux support after Baron's gone accomplish? Like, your flash is such an important tool on late game teamfights as Kassadin. So yeah, I mean, I think we've reviewed this enough, but my biggest advice to you is to look at how you're team fighting in the mid and late game right now, because I think that's like very significantly holding you back. You're playing too fair, and every team fight it's like you guys line up in a row and just run at them and use your abilities. Kassadin's power comes from your ability to terrain scale, get around the enemy team, and show up in weird situations. So I would switch to sweepers, especially by the time we're 16, and start sweeping out wards, start looking for flanks, that sort of thing. But yeah, hopefully this is helpful, guys. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and have a wonderful day.